Hey, good evening or good morning. I'm recording this at evening while my baby settles down to sleep. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about my experience working on the Sundrop dress pattern, which I believe her name is pronounced, or the designer's name is pronounced Irichi or Irichi. I'm not sure though. I'll link the information below. The Sundrop pattern is so cool. And when I saw it, I was immediately like, yes, I want to make that for sure. So I picked up the pattern from their website and got right to it. The material I'm using is from Joann's house brand, and if you want to make it, maybe you can find it. I actually had some luck finding a couple of skeins today while I was out, but it might be gone by now. So I'm using the K&C Botanicals, which is a 70% bamboo viscose and 30% cotton. They come in 100-gram balls that are about 125 meters. The color I'm working with in the center is sort of a tannish mid-tone color called camel. And the bright yellow is ochre, and then around the edge I'll be using coral pink. So that's one of my motifs, and then the contrasting motif, I'm not inverting it as you can see in the picture from the designer, but I'm using a cool tone palette that will have fresh, oh no, that's the trim color, sorry. The cool tone palette, I'm going to be using lavender and raindrops and this lovely soft silvery color called feather gray. And then I'll be creating my borders in camel and olive, fresh olive. So I'm working on a G-sized hook, which is not what is recommended in the pattern, more on that later. And I'm working with a thicker, slightly thicker yarn than what is recommended in the pattern. Again, more on that later. So when I was served the content from this designer, it was a YouTube short or maybe a reel, and I just was like so flabbergasted, or floored. The designs are just so cool, and they're delightful and playful and quirky, and I just knew that I really wanted that in my wardrobe and in my collection, so I decided to pick it up and start making it. At first I was making it with a different K&C yarn, but I didn't really like how it was coming out. It was a more woolly yarn, and it had too much bloom to it. It wasn't giving me what I wanted, so I decided to switch to the more slick and shiny material that is the bamboo viscose cotton blend. The pattern calls for creating a bunch of these floral motifs, which are referred to as African violets. So I've just been creating piles of them, and I'll start assembling them once I have enough to get a sense for sizing. I don't know if this is typical with crochet patterns or if this is just this particular designer's. Please let me know if you have any more knowledge. I'm used to working, sorry, the baby farted. I'm used to working with knitwear designer patterns, and the knitwear designers that I gravitate to, especially if I'm going to be paying for the pattern, are patterns that are extremely size inclusive. I am a large person, not just in circumference, but also in height. So straight sizing has never fit me. I've been 5'10" since I was hitting puberty. I've always been the tallest kid in my class. I've had feet that never fit into shoes in normal stores. So of course I'm really drawn to designers that could give me patterns that fit those bigger bodies or otter shape bodies. And maybe that's why I like to make clothes and make things. But I'm used to knitting and sewing patterns, and those patterns and designers I work with, or when I purchase them, those typically go up to a 60-inch circumference. And when I got this pattern, it did indicate how to make the dress larger, but the details were light. They were vague, and as far as I could tell, it only really accounted for going up maybe a size or two from what the designer had created in their pattern. When I looked at the test patterns that they had shared on their social media, I didn't see any testers that looked like they had bodies of my shape. And that's where I kind of was like, well, I don't know how great this pattern is going to be for my body size. I purchased the pattern from their website without really checking the details of like what size is it included. And I couldn't, unlike purchasing from Ravelry where you can see other projects that were created, when I purchased straight from the website, it was just seeing what the testers had created. And it says made to measure, so I assumed I could make it would have more details on how to make it to my measure, but those weren't really there. So I decided to size up a yarn weight and size up a hook size. And I chose to do that because I knew that that would give me a larger motif, which on my larger body would proportionally work. I know because I'm using a lighter breathable material, the bamboo cotton blend, that it won't be so heavy and drag on my body as much. It'll still hold its structure pretty well and be breathable and comfortable for the spring and summer, which I'm hoping to wear this outfit. But I'm not sure how useful the construction details are going to be for my body size because the details are fairly light and I can't find information or pattern reviews on this Sundrop dress pattern for larger sized bodies. For reference, I wear about a 2XL in the Torrid and I don't know, like LL Bean, Target sizing charts. So, a bigger body. And I'm hoping I can make it work. I'm hoping that the directions for making the dress larger with the directions about how to create the hip flares and other components will allow this dress to fit me pretty well because I'm working with a larger motif, which already gives me that extra bit of space in each motif diameter in conjunction with the directions for making it larger will fit my bigger body and not be like, oh, you have to add like 5 to 10 extra motif rows to make it fit you, and therefore like kind of lose the overall vibe of the outfit. But I love this because I was really drawn to this particular pattern because it reminds me of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, and that's why I picked it up. So yeah, it's just me working on it. I have about a dozen, maybe almost 2 dozen motifs completed. It calls for quite a few of these, but I will keep you posted as I work and if the pattern with my modifications in yarn weight and hook size will work out for me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this soft-spoken video. Thanks. Bye.